Well, thank you guys so much. All right, I'm super excited about this interview. I'm joined by Cole Watkins of the Bridge Group in Houston, Texas, and we're going to talk all things sphere of influence, database, and also negotiating with our sellers. This is going to be a fun conversation. And Cole, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. So first off, tell us a little bit about the team there in Houston.
Yeah, so we're a 5-year-old. We're a 5-year-old running around selling real estate. No, we're 5.5 years old. We started our team in 2019, and it was me and my wife. We branched out from a team, and that's kind of where we got our start. And we had 4 agents that started with us, and today, 5.5 years later, we have about 45 agents on our team. The last couple of years, we've been right there, with everything that's been going on in the 82 to 87 million volume. This year, we are hoping to hit 100 million in volume. Really, I think that's my position on the team is starting to kind of back out of production and way more into the recruiting, coaching, training, mentoring, and the training systems for our agents. So I think that's kind of what we're known for in the Houston area is our training. We have something called Launchpad that we do, which is really for our agents. It's our onboarding, it's our agent training. We do it 4 times a year, but we also invite any and everyone, no matter your brokerage, no matter your team or affiliation. So we're starting that again on October 21st, and it's already filling up. So that's just a little bit about us and what we focus on.
I love hearing that. And I've coached teams before on this very topic. Working with brokerages or teams, you often hear them say things like, I'm selective, which I take as code for I don't like recruiting.
Yeah.
Right? And I get that 100%, but I always differentiate between selecting and selective, right? Selective is, I think, a little bit of a misnomer. Selecting is a process. And what you just described is that you're out there looking for people who are willing to go through your, I think you called it Launchpad process. And Are you using that sort of as a show and prove kind of litmus test of whether or not they're going to be successful on your team?
Yeah, definitely. And I use it as a big recruiting tool. So obviously we want to offer value to everyone in our space. But at the same time, we absolutely use it to recruit to our team. I was able to coach with John Cheplack last year and talk about recruiting. He tells you all the time you can recruit yourself. Yeah, you can recruit yourself out of any problem, and it's true. We went from about 22 to 45, within a year's time, and it's absolutely true. But I think a lot of people that are looking to be team leads, they don't get that, and they don't understand that now their job is to switch out buyer seller with real estate agent. So instead of prospecting for buyers and sellers as much, you need to be prospecting for realtors that you can help grow and add value to their business.
What I've seen of the statistics in the industry of new agents solo versus new agents who join a team, night and day. I mean, really not even a comparison. The level of productivity of a newer agent who joins a team versus goes it on their own, because a lot of people just have no real clue what it means to be a real estate agent when they get their license. And so, by the way, newer agents who are watching this, if you're finding yourself in the boat of wondering, do I want to keep going this alone, or do I want to maybe go talk to my old boss and get my job back? I'd really recommend reaching out to Susan McLean with EXP, who is actually working on a program where we can help facilitate finding great teams who are looking for talented agents that would be a fit for you, and do make sure that you have that conversation with her, because there are fantastic teams like Cole's that can really help you kind of cut your teeth, get into the business, learn the ropes, and whether or not you stay on a team or you decide once you've got your wings spread that you're ready to go on your own, that's fine, because folks like Cole understand that, recruiting is a game plan that is an essential for a team to survive and thrive. But we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about how you're feeding that massive volume that you're doing. So I'm curious, are you like a Zillow kind of person, or how are you generating your leads to feed that many 45 agents on your team?
Yeah, so there's that old proverb. It says, "Give a man a fish, right? He'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he'll eat for a lifetime." And I was on a team. I came from a team myself, and I just taught myself how to fish. And I was in an open house the first 2 years of my real estate career. I was in an open house Saturday, Sunday, every single weekend for 2 years. It didn't matter if it was a Super Bowl, my birthday, nothing. I was always in an open house, and that's how I was getting a lot of my business. I always say to pick 3 different pillars of lead generation. And at that time, my pillars of lead generation were open houses, circle prospecting, and then working my database. And so you have to fill that database to work it, right? And so I was constantly circle prospecting. We're going to talk a little bit about that when we start talking about listings. And I got so much business from leveraging the listing, and it wasn't even my listing; it was my team's listing, but no one else was doing it. So I did that, and now I've taught our agents how to do that, and then they're doing things that I've never done, and they're teaching each other how to do that on this team. Which I think EXP is really, the culture of EXP is the culture of the Bridge Group and collaboration. And so there's no secrets here. And you just see all the agents after a team meeting getting together and working on different things. Some of them are getting 7 to 9 deals a year on YouTube. Others, and that's just YouTube alone, right? Like others are doing reverse prospecting with buyers. And writing handwritten letters and getting like lots of listings, leveraging their buyers, kind of crazy stuff. But that was what kicked me off in the very beginning. And that's what we teach our agents. And we have 18 lead generation activities. It's a PDF. If you want that, I can send it to you and you can put it on this, but it's free to give to anyone. But we really do teach our agents how to prospect. Now, as I said before, we just got into the online lead deal. We're not a Zillow Flex team. We've never really done that. And the reason we didn't is because I never did it. And so I wasn't very comfortable doing it, or teaching it. Right now we're starting to invest in that and seeing it pay for itself and much more. And then, another kind of area that a lot of big teams go in, to try to generate a lot of leads for all their agents is builder business, which I don't know. I'm just sore from COVID, and I hold grudges. And so I just don't want to work with builders, because at any drop of the hat, they can say, nope, we're not doing that anymore, just like Zillow. So that's really not my game. It's a lot of my peers, a lot of my friends, they do that. They do it well, but we kind of stick to the basics and just execute that over and over and over again, and chase mastery in it.
Well, what's interesting is I've seen this time and time again with real estate agents is that they fall in love with one particular lead gen source, and then all of a sudden that goes away. Whether it be a builder, whether it be falling in love with SEO on the search engines, and then Google changes their algorithm. I've seen this happen time and time again to friends of mine.
Right.
And then they're forced to start all over again. And what that lesson often teaches them is a lesson that we all should learn from the beginning, which is to have the multiple streams of lead gen, like you said. The whole entire goal of this business, if you're going to be in it for the long term, and I hope everybody here is to build your database. And you do that through a multitude of different lead generation sources. In the beginning, you're going to use those lead generation sources to look for both immediate business and future business. Put all the future business into your database, put all the immediate business into your database, but work the immediate business with a cultivation and conversion strategy, work the future business with a conversion strategy. But let me talk to you about your database, your sphere of influence. So you said you started working that early on, which congratulations, because a lot of agents don't, right? They wait until much longer. What was that like in the beginning for you? Who was your database, and how did you grow it?
So I will say this, like I hired a coach a long time ago. I had team leads, but the team leads weren't necessarily mentors or coaches. They're just they were team leads, right? Like the majority of team leads out there. But I hired someone with Tom Ferry, and my first coach with Tom Ferry was always talking to me about, number one, prospecting is a queen bee of your business. If there's a day that you're not prospecting, your business is taking a step backwards. Number two, follow up has to be relentless. And number three, your database. That's the big secret. That's the secret of every top producer, is that they are working in and on their database consistently. And so they know where things are. They have something called client care. So in our database, we have kind of our hot, warm, and cold leads, and I think that's a lot of what people just kind of think about. But then we have client care, which is home anniversaries, right? Birthdays. It is outreach. It is quarterly outreach. It is client appreciate. It is all of these different segments of your past clients that you have to, if you're saying that your business is about relationship, it needs to be about relationship. You need to reach out to them. We have 3 or 4 client appreciation parties a year. And so it gives us the excuse to go through our database and see who have I recently sold a home to that I need to put into that category, and call all of my clients 3 to 4 times a year just to check in and invite them to a party. So there's so much that goes into it, but exactly what you said, the reason why you want to have one is to go back and get referral and repeat business from. And some of my agents right now, they've only been doing this for 4 or 5 years, and they're doing multiple 6 figures on a team year over year because they're farming that database. And they really are seeing about 5, 7, some of them 10% return from their database every year. So it's a great piece of their business.
It's interesting. I think a lot of people think of client parties as the reason to have a client party. From what I'm hearing, you, like many top agents, you don't really necessarily care if they show up to your client party.
Right.
It is literally a reason to reach out to these folks.
That is yeah. So my coach, going back to them, he said, I want you to call your client database 4 times a year and ask for business. And I said, I just can't, like other people can, I cannot like bring myself to just calling people and saying, hey, it's me again, I'm asking for something. But I wanted to make it a party that we can invite our clients to. And that way it's easier for our agents to all opt into doing that. And look, like we have thousands of past clients, and we might have 250 to 325 show up at our parties, which is great. It's fantastic, but we invited so many more, and so many people that didn't come said, hey, wait a second. While you're on the phone with me, I just remembered my boss, they're being relocated and they need to sell their house. And then we say, hey, great, put us on a joint text, introduce us, and we'll set it up. We get so much business from that every single quarter. And it's just it's a great way to continue to build that database.
I'm curious, do you have a script that you follow or a loose dialogue that you follow to ask for that
Not
referral?
for that. No, not for that. Because it's just when we do have like whiteboard Wednesdays where we do all of our role playing and we go through our scripts and things like that. But for that, I'm just like, hey, if I'm giving you a script on how to interact with someone that you already have a relationship with, good grief. Like we're in trouble, right? Just call them and invite them to a party, right? That's really what it is.
So you're not necessarily asking for the referral in that particular conversation.
Nope. We call them. We say, hey, it's Cole. How are you doing? I saw it was your son's birthday the other day. Happy birthday to him. Wow, he's getting big. He's getting so big since we last saw each other. Hey, it's that time of year for our crawfish boil. We same place, same time. I'm going to send you the invite. Just wanted to give you a call and give you a heads up. That's where it's going to be and when it's going to be. How are things going? Right? You throw the ball in their court and they start talking, and then eventually it's going to be hey, like I just remembered, my boss is getting relocated, my brother's moving into town, this, that, and the other. So I don't ask for it. I really don't. But they always tend to bring it up, and it's based off of reciprocity, right? I'm giving you an opportunity to come have some crawfish, have some beer, watch a movie, whatever it is, wine tasting. And they feel like, hey, you guys did a fantastic job. Obviously I saw your name on the phone and wanted to pick up and see what was going on. Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I'm not going to be able to make it, but I feel like I need to contribute something. So, yeah, it's awesome.
That's great. And yeah, the law of reciprocity of life is a very powerful tool for you, and offering great value just automatically makes them want to do that themselves. Speaking of value, when you talk about your sphere, so obviously those client parties are a big part of a value prop that you bring to the people who work with you. Any other big pieces of value that you're contributing to your database on an ongoing basis?
So I'm a huge fan, and going back again to my coaching early on. His name was Coach Rod Moser, and still a friend and a great coach. But Rod Moser said, "Hey, um, I, I keep talking to you about sending out your database video. This is our third week coaching together, and every week you keep bringing up keep bringing up an excuse on why you haven't sent out a database video to everyone in your database." Now, by that time, I had already had about 3 years of full-time real estate under my belt, and so that was about 80, 90 people that were in my past client database that I could have been speaking to every single week, right? And so he knew the importance of that. I did not. And he threatened to fire me on week 4 if he did not see a database video go out.
Good
And so,
coach.
yeah, no, fantastic. I have not missed a week of database video since that time. And I haven't.
You
Yeah.
coached me well, friend.
Yeah. Laid up with COVID and everything else. I'm like, this video is going out. So no, I think that a video database or a database video once a week to everyone keeps you top of mind. And I think, for lack of better words, killing two birds with one stone and using that video for your social media platform, your business page, your team page, whatever it is. And, taking that and saying, all right, instead of just my database video, I'm going to use this for all content across the board, has really helped us stay top of mind with that. Now, again, like database video, the client appreciation party, pop buys for my personal clients. Over the years, pop buys are a huge thing quarterly. So I'm kind of alternating. If I'm doing a Halloween pop buy for my clients, I'm doing a November client appreciation party, and we really do. The Bridge Group is a sticky group, right? Once you do business with us, there's a good likelihood that we shut that back door, and we have great retention on all of our past clients because of how much we engage with them. We also use our database to send a monthly mailer, kind of talking about client care here, but a monthly mailer. I don't do geo farming. I've never been a fan of it just because I'm impatient. But I will send a monthly mailer to all of my past clients that already know, like, and trust me. So maybe that card sits on the counter a little bit longer than it would a stranger before it goes into the trash. But at the same time, they're getting something from me every single month. But all of that is using our database. Now my database is full of agents and agents that I need to follow up with and reach out to. While I was waiting on the call, I was sending out texts to agents that are in my database that I need to follow up with.
That's great. Now, you mentioned about geofarming. You said you don't do that. You mean mailers, but you do circle prospecting. Are you doing that in a geofarm, or is that just wherever you take a listing? How do you do your circle prospecting?
Yeah, so I guess in my head, I always think about geofarming as someone grabbing or adopting a neighborhood, right, or a zip code or whatever, however much they want to spend, and sending mailers once, twice a month to that community. I've done that. I did it and it hurt every month. I did it 11 months, didn't quite make it to a year, and I got nothing from it. And we did crazy stuff. Like, we did scratch off stuff. We did all kinds of stuff, and we barely got any engagement, not one listing from it. And I was like, this is not good for me. I know so many people that it has worked very well for, but I'm over it. But yes, we do. If we have a listing, I teach my agents how to get at least 2 more pieces of business off of each listing. Now we're going to go heavily into open houses and making sure that we're doing a fantastic open house. I think just because if you schedule an open house on the MLS and your physical body is in the open house greeting people, shaking hands, that does not mean that you're doing it right. So there's a right way and a wrong way to do things, right? It's not a participation deal. You can waste a lot of time in open houses. And we've had agents come in and they're like, man, I'm doing open houses the last 6 months and I get nothing. They come to our team and we teach them how to do an open house. They get 6 leads that they're following up with, listing appointments, listings, and so forth from the actual open house. So there's definitely a right and wrong way to do that. Open houses are number one. Circle prospecting for that listing is an opportunity. The Bridge Group, we have over 50 listings right now, and those agents on our team, I'm not doing the circle prospecting for all those, and neither are the agents on the team. Some of these guys are selling 20 million this year. Like, they're not circle prospecting every listing that they have. So it's an opportunity for our newer agents to come onto the team. We already have Canva templates, so all they do is drag and drop their information in it, the pictures, everything else, and then they print those off, walk around to 50 to 75 homes in and around that subject property listing. And it could be just listed, under contract, or just sold. And we get the more you do it, the more consistent you are with it. Think about if one of those neighbors sees you doing that the third time on just sold and says, good grief, like, I saw you on the just listed, the under contract, and the just sold. Talk to me. How did it go? And so that's how we get business. And then we document. Our social media is very documentary style, to where we are essentially documenting everything we're doing with that listing. So pictures, right? Picture prep, the open house, we're under contract, we're just sold. So we're documenting that. And that is, even if it's not your listing, most people won't know that online. And so they're just seeing you in the field. And every single time you're making a post about what you're doing in the field, it is depositing something in the trust account of your audience. And they're saying, man, like, Cole is killing it. Taylor is killing it. Taylor hadn't sold a home, but they say, like, Taylor's killing it. I trust Taylor. When it's time for me to buy or sell, or my brother or sister or mom or whoever, I'm pointing them in Taylor's direction. So we have seen that work with a lot of success with our newer agents as well.
Yeah. And speaking of that, newer agents out there, there's a lot of self-talk that is going on in your head, a lot of head trash saying, oh, that listing agent isn't going to let me sit there open. Or that listing agent isn't going to let me market their property on social media. That is absolutely not the case. As Cole just described, there are plenty of agents who are just killing it with production. Maybe open houses isn't their thing, but their sellers still have expectations around that. And to be able to service their sellers well, to be able to offer an open house to a seller who wants that through you, is a great value proposition to them, and a great way for you to generate business if you're pairing it with the circle prospecting like Cole is talking about. So I want to ask you, Cole, because we are in a new era with what happened in August, converting over with the NAR decision. Are you seeing much difference with your sellers when you're consulting them? I don't want to get into talking about amounts of commissions and things like that, but when it comes to talking to them about buyer compensation, buyer concessions, are you seeing a difference of sellers thinking now? And if so, how are you dealing with that?
Yeah, Robert Greene, I think he wrote several books, but I think one of them, the very well-known 48 Laws of Power, it was either that or war, but he said the best strategy is having the most options. And I agree with that. I think I need some options here. I need to pick from something. Our staff is they have pages and sheets of options for me to pick from. I'll just circle and hand it back to them, and there you go. But what we did for both our buyers and sellers, we do have a killer listing presentation. It converts over 90% of our appointments convert. And so it's killer. It answers. An engineer will sit there and have a list of all of his questions, right, for us. By the end of our presentation, they're all answered, right? He never even took a minute to ask us. So we did that for our sellers. We did that for our buyers as well. That was something we didn't have. Then we did it for our buyers to make it a little easier for our agents to have that scripting in front of them. Now, one of those slides on our listing presentation goes through the many options that are now, up to them. And so I frame things very well. And so I've taught our agents how to frame this when we get to that slide. So, right, what has changed? That slide says, what has changed after August 17th? And we talk about what changed as far as buyers, but really what's going to affect them as a seller. We address the myth of like, you no longer have to pay a buyer's agent. That's not true. I mean, you never did. That was always true. It was always negotiable. But what I do tell them is, here's kind of the simple options, right? We can offer 3% to the buyer agent, or a percentage right off the bat to the buyer agent. Just, hey, look, this is it. We're going to put this out there. We're going to be able to advertise this. And that way, no one's worried, right? We're going to be advertising to the biggest audience. Okay. The other thing is, we could say we're not offering any buyer agent compensation. It's going to be up to you to negotiate that with your buyer. And now we have the smallest audience. Okay. Or we could go to the third one saying, I am offering a buyer agent compensation, but it's not specified just yet. We are willing to work with the buyer agent on their compensation, but let's negotiate this. Put it in your offer. And so when we do that, we kind of talk to them about the success rate, how big of an audience, how many eyeballs are going to be on this property, how many showing opportunities are going to be there with more buyer agents on board. So that's how we do it. I think a lot of times we overthink this whole NAR thing way too much. We have not seen, actually, we saw a massive blow up in our business with both buyers and sellers right after August 17th. And I think our August and our September outpaced our June and July. So yeah, we're not overthinking it. We're not making it too complicated. And we try to simplify it as much as possible and address some of the falsehoods and the myths that our sellers might have heard or talked about at work with someone that isn't in it every day.
Yeah, I think well said. A few things there about what you said is, first is, if you're not familiar with the options that Cole is outlining, go look at the new eXp University Winning Clients training program. And what we've done is taken the great trainings that Leo and Holly and Kendall have done and merged that together with what our marketing team has created for you in terms of buyer consultation and listing presentation materials, and really kind of laid that all out. But because eXp led the way with our listing agreement of providing those options in our listing agreement materials for the seller, you've got that all right there. And so having a slide or a page, whatever your style of listing presentation material is, having that content in there, it's all readily available to you. You don't even have to come up with the scripts on your own. That's all in Winning Clients from eXp University. The other thing that you said, which is so important, the questions, the objections, right? And if you don't, go ask your broker. They'll tell you because they've heard them all, right? And planning for that, being proactive in your presentation style is so key, because once they voice it as an objection, there's now a guard up. There's now a defense, right? If you can hit it before that even comes, you'll see the shoulders relax. You'll see them get more into the conversation with you. Well, Cole, no wonder you guys are doing such amazing business there in Houston. You guys are just crushing it. And thanks for coming on and sharing all your hard-won wisdom with us. We really appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Well, us too. All right. And we've enjoyed you guys as well. So back to you guys.